why the PE license still matters, and why engineers keep delaying it. So in today's presentation, we'll talk about 6 main things. The first one is what a PE license is and what it is not. And then also the benefit of getting the PE license. Most people have different motivations for acquiring the license. Some people, they want to get it because they want to improve their career. But more than career, the PE license provide additional benefit that we'll talk about. We'll also talk about some industry facts, the licensure rates, and also what separates them, especially from people who have a PE and those who do not have a PE license. Why engineers keep postponing, and what finally breaks the cycle. And then I also talk briefly about myself going through the exams. Just a brief story about my journey, in case that helps some of you, because everybody has a starting point and it's always a journey. And once you set the goal towards that, you will be able to achieve it. I will also talk about the full cycle from starting from a PE, starting from FE, and then you go to the engineer in training, designation, and then the PE path. And then the last will be open section for question and answers. Okay, before we go deep into the topic, I just want to talk a bit about the history of the professional engineer licensure in the United States. And this did not start today. It's over 100-year period. But even talking about the whole process in the US, engineering has started quite long years ago, right? But without any structure, and people do everything they want to do without regulation, without following standards. So in the 1800s BC, there was this Babylonian king or ruler called Hammurabi. So Hammurabi has the eye for eye policy. The eye for eye policy that was also applied to engineering. So if you are a builder and then you put up a house and the house collapses and then kills the residents or the house owner, who is responsible for this? Is it the house owner or the builder? So Hammurabi's principle for eye is that if the builder builds the building and it breaks and then kills the resident, then the builder would also be killed. If the son of the house owner dies or the child of the house owner passes away, then the builder's son or child will also be killed. So this was how several years ago they were using this kind of process to ensure that public safety and then public welfare is guaranteed from builders or even engineers. Okay. So in the United States, the entire process of licensure started in 1907, and Wyoming was the first state to pass the legislation for engineers to be licensed. And this was because people wanted to take advantage of resources, get land permits to explore resources without having any qualification. So that was how the process started. And then in 1907, it actually started in 1903. And then 4 years later, they passed, because of that whole entire mess, the The law was passed in 1907. Okay, so fast forward, this whole process went through different stages. After that, other states decided to also have a process to ensure that engineers actually provide the competence of providing the service they want to provide, right? And then in 1930s to 40s, they were advancing standards. States began to adopt uniform principles, because when this process started, every state is doing their own and everything started becoming a mess. And so it was becoming more standardized. If in 1950s, we have the role of the National Council of Examiners for Engineering and Surveying. They came in to make the system more formalized, even though the NCEES started about 1891, right? So in 1960s to 1990, we have like a uniform or a unified commitment across the nation. All the 50 states, including the District of Columbia and U.S. territories, established the licensure laws for professional engineers. So this created a consistent system where all the states or all engineers in the US would have a uniform process of ensuring public health, safety, and welfare. And that is a fundamental use of the lances to ensure public safety and welfare. So now in our today's current dispensation, the lances is still important. It remains as the gold standard of engineering practice in the industry. It is also a symbol of trust. It demonstrates competence and ethical responsibility. So as technology and society continue to evolve, so will professional licensure provide the commitment of providing public safety. Okay, so I'll move on to the next page. Now, engineers, we love numbers, so I'd want to talk about numbers here. Before that, let me check quick if other people are trying to join and I have to admit them. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so we all love numbers. We want to see the numbers to show proof. We have been doing a lot of calculations in our profession. So in the US, there are a lot of engineers, and these numbers are based on getting the exact number is actually difficult, but based on estimations, nearly 494,000 engineers are actually lances in the US. And if we talk about electrical specific, about 22% are actually having the lances. So that means that about 78% of electrical engineers do not hold the lances. And this credential could be a multiplier in their career, but they still don't have it based on several reasons that we'll talk about later. If you take a look and do the maths, the premium lifetime, or if you are to work in the industry, let's say 30 years, and then you do the difference between having a PE license and not having a PE license, you realize that you would have a premium earnings of about $500,000. So this is very significant. Having the license is not something that is a certificate. It's not something to boast of, but it's something to improve your life, your career, as well as you providing credible service to the public.